Speeches of Shri Lal Bahadur Shastri. Sanskrit. From Convocation Address at the Sanskrit University, Varanasi, December 26, 1964. Varanasi has a special place as a center of culture and as a holy place of learning. The veterans of Sanskrit have glorified it by accepting it, the field of their work as well as labor. Sanskrit is an invaluable heritage of this country. It is the original source of much of that in our cultural and civilization at large. In fact, the history of Sanskrit language and literature is the history of the intellectual progress of this nation. The spirit of India manifested itself in the language, and it became the mother, the sister, the nurse of several Indian languages. The glory of Sanskrit spread in foreign lands also. Several foreign scholars came to India to study Sanskrit books. Interest in Sanskrit increased among scholars in foreign countries. Today, there are special institutions for study and research in Sanskrit in countries like Germany, USA, USSR, France and Italy. Sanskrit gave strong foundation to the social, cultural and spiritual life of the nation. From time to time, there were changes and revolutions in the field of thought, but Sanskrit never ceased to be a linked language. Even today, it has a special place in the cultural life of this nation, as most Indian languages still draw sustenance and strength from Sanskrit literature. It is time that Sanskrit once again played an important part in the life of the nation as it has done before. Our duty does not end by praising the golden past. The past can be inspiration only, and it is the present we have to live in. It is remarkable that thousands of scholars have worked for the development of Sanskrit without caring for any material gain. We are fortunate that many such scholars are still with us. We should not become lethargic in our service to Sanskrit. It would appear that in some fields foreigners have done even more service to Sanskrit than Indians. A language can be enriched only by the labors of its followers, at home and abroad. Government protection and social stimulations are important, but the history of Sanskrit proves that the best Sanskrit literature was independent of all this. Scholars worked for Sanskrit in a selfless spirit, only for the glory of the language. Hundreds of them were not even eager for fame. Many scholars did not even mention their names in their books, and thousands of them cared little for the money. It is necessary today that research on different aspects of Sanskrit should be done in a modern way. Sanskrit works should be translated in different languages, and store of Sanskrit knowledge should be increased. More and more books should be written in Sanskrit on the modern science and learning. The deep knowledge of Sanskrit, which is being destroyed, should be preserved. Simple, illustrated books, free from the burden of grammar, should be produced in Sanskrit. Only Sanskrit scholars can undertake this task. By this, I do not mean that the government has no role to play. The central government and the state governments know their responsibility. The central government has established the Sanskrit Commission and the Central Sanskrit Board and has done much for development of Sanskrit by implementing their proposals by establishing the Sanskrit Vidyapeeth at Tirupati and by honoring Sanskrit scholars. The government is giving assistance for developing all India Sanskrit Vidyapeeth at Delhi into an international Sanskrit institute and for expanding the Dr. Rajendra Prasad Sanskrit Library. Our state governments too have paid attention to this after independence. We are trying to give more attention to the development of Sanskrit now.